Adolf Hitler, born on April 20, 1889, in Braunau am Inn, Austria-Hungary, now Austria, was a German politician and the leader of the National Socialist German Workers' Party, Nazi Party. He rose to power as Chancellor of Germany in 1933 and later Führer in 1934. Hitler's aggressive foreign policies and his role in the outbreak of World War II in Europe led to the genocide known as the Holocaust, in which 6 million Jews were systematically murdered. Hitler was born to Alois Hitler and Clara Polzel. His father, Alois, was a customs official, and his mother, Clara, was a homemaker. Hitler's father, Alois, was a strict and authoritarian figure who often clashed with his son. Alois wanted Adolf to follow in his footsteps and pursue a career in the civil service, but Adolf had different aspirations. He was passionate about art and dreamed of becoming a painter. However, his relationship with his father was strained, and Adolf rebelled against his father's wishes. Tragedy struck Hitler's family when his younger brother, Edmund, died of measles in 1900. Edmund's death deeply affected Hitler, who was just 11 years old at the time. Some historians believe that this event may have contributed to Hitler's later obsession with health and his belief in the superiority of the Aryan race. Hitler's early years were marked by financial struggle and the death of his father when he was just 13 years old. He attended a Catholic elementary school and later a technical high school, but he struggled with discipline and often clashed with his teachers. He dropped out of high school at the age of 16 without completing his education, but he was devoted to his mother, and her death from breast cancer in 1907 had a profound impact on him. After dropping out of high school, Hitler moved to Vienna, Austria, where he attempted to pursue a career in art. He applied twice to the Vienna Academy of Art but was rejected both times. Struggling to make a living, he moved to Munich, Germany, in 1913. Upon arriving in Munich, Hitler initially found work as a laborer and a watercolor painter, though he struggled to make ends meet. When World War I broke out in 1914, Hitler volunteered for the German army and served as a messenger on the Western Front. He viewed the war as a heroic struggle for the survival of the German people and came to believe that Jews and other undesirable groups were to blame for Germany's defeat. He was wounded twice and received the Iron Cross for bravery. In addition to the Iron Cross, Hitler was also awarded the Iron Cross, First Class, in 1918. This higher level of the Iron Cross was awarded for acts of exceptional bravery or leadership in combat. The experience of the war deeply affected Hitler, and he became a fervent nationalist, believing that Germany had been betrayed by politicians and the Jewish people. Up to and during the First World War, Hitler sported a large mustache. He was ordered to trim the side so it could fit under a gas mask. The result was the toothbrush mustache that he wore for the rest of his life. After the war, Hitler returned to Munich and remained in the army as an intelligence officer. Hitler joined the German Workers' Party, DAP, which later became the Nazi Party. He quickly rose through the ranks and became the party's leader in 1921. Hitler's charisma and oratory skills helped him gain a large following, particularly among disaffected Germans who were suffering from the economic hardships of the Great Depression. Hitler's Austrian nationality was a point of controversy during his rise to power in Germany. His political opponents often used his Austrian background to question his loyalty to Germany and his qualifications to lead the country. Hitler's ability to tap into the anger and frustration of the German people helped the Nazi Party gain popularity, and in the 1932 elections, the Nazis became the largest party in the German Reichstag. Despite their electoral success, the Nazis did not have a majority in the Reichstag. In 1933, Hitler was appointed Chancellor of Germany by President Paul von Hindenburg. Using a combination of legal means and intimidation, Hitler quickly established a dictatorship and began implementing his aggressive foreign policies. The Reichstag fire in February 1933 was used as a pretext to pass the Reichstag Fire Decree, which suspended civil liberties and allowed for the arrest of political opponents. In the months that followed, the Nazis used violence and intimidation to suppress dissent and consolidate their power. He expanded the German military and began to reoccupy the Rhineland, demilitarized under the treaty. These actions were met with little resistance from the international community, emboldening Hitler to pursue further aggressive actions. During this period, Hitler also implemented a series of anti-Semitic laws and policies, culminating in the Nuremberg Laws of 1935, which stripped Jews of their citizenship and legal rights. He annexed Austria in 1938 and later invaded Poland in 1939, triggering the start of World War II. One of Hitler's early successes in the war was the rapid defeat of Poland in September 1939, achieved through the use of blitzkrieg tactics. This victory was followed by the occupation of Denmark and Norway in 1940, and the rapid conquest of France, Belgium, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands. Hitler's ambitions extended beyond Europe, and he sought to establish German dominance over vast territories. In June 1941, Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of the Soviet Union, with the aim of conquering vast territories and destroying communism. Despite initial successes, the campaign ultimately failed, and the brutal fighting on the Eastern Front became a turning point in the war. Hitler's leadership style became more erratic and detached from reality, as he clung to the belief in Germany's eventual triumph. During the war, Hitler pursued a policy of genocide against the Jewish people, which he called the final solution. 6 million Jews, along with millions of others, including Poles, Soviet prisoners of war, Romani people, disabled individuals, and political dissidents, were systematically murdered in concentration camps. By 1944, the tide of the war had turned against Germany, and the Allies began to advance on all fronts. In April 1945, Soviet forces reached Berlin, and Hitler retreated to his bunker beneath the Reich Chancellery. Hitler's health deteriorated, and he became increasingly isolated. On April 30, 1945, as Soviet forces closed in on his bunker in Berlin, Hitler committed suicide by gunshot. His body was later discovered and identified by Soviet soldiers. Adolf Hitler's married life was brief and shrouded in secrecy. On April 29, 1945, the day before his suicide, Hitler married his longtime partner, Eva Braun, in a civil ceremony in the Führerbunker in Berlin. The marriage came as a surprise to many, as Hitler had kept his relationship with Braun largely hidden from the public eye. Hitler and Braun both committed suicide. While Hitler died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, Braun took cyanide. Adolf Hitler's legacy is one of infamy and horror. He is remembered as one of history's most reviled figures, responsible for the deaths of millions and the devastation of Europe during World War II. The questions remain if there will be a World War III and we will experience another Hitler.